When I first met Emily in Chicago, I never thought her life would end up colliding with mine in such a strange way. She had this warm personality, the kind that made everyone feel comfortable around her, and she carried herself with a quiet confidence. Emily worked at a local art studio downtown, while I was grinding through long hours at a software startup. We met through mutual friends one summer afternoon during a barbecue at Grant Park. She was standing by the grill, laughing at a joke someone told, and for some reason I just assumed she was single. She had this carefree vibe, and the way she interacted with everyone made it easy to forget that she might already be taken. Over the next few weeks, we crossed paths more often. Sometimes it was through group hangouts, sometimes through coffee meetups when we both happened to be downtown. Emily had a way of telling stories that made ordinary moments sound like adventures. I liked listening to her talk about her art projects, the murals she worked on with kids from the neighborhood, or the exhibits she visited in New York. One afternoon, we were sitting at a small cafe on State Street. I was halfway through my iced latte when she casually said, "My husband thinks I drink way too much coffee." I almost choked. "Wait, your husband?" She looked at me like I had missed something obvious. "Yeah, my husband. You didn't know." I blinked at her, still trying to process the word. "I thought you were joking." Emily laughed, covering her mouth as if she couldn't believe my surprise. "Why would I joke about that? I've been married for 3 years." The words hung in the air for a moment. I felt awkward, like I had just walked into a conversation halfway through. "Wow," I said finally. "I honestly didn't know. You don't really talk about him much." She nodded, stirring her coffee. "That's fair. He works a lot. He's in real estate, so he's always running around meeting clients, checking properties. We don't usually hang out in the same circles." I leaned back in my chair, still adjusting to this new piece of information. Part of me felt embarrassed for assuming otherwise, but Emily didn't seem to mind. She went on telling me stories, and soon the awkwardness faded. The following weekend, she invited me to a local art show. "You should come," she said. "It's at this gallery near Wicker Park. My husband might stop by too, if he's not too busy." That night, the gallery was buzzing with people, soft jazz playing in the background, and the smell of hors d'oeuvres filling the room. Emily was in her element, talking to guests and showing off the pieces she had worked on. I wandered around, admiring the paintings, until I noticed someone walking toward her. It was a tall man in a tailored suit, carrying himself with the kind of confidence that drew attention without effort. Emily immediately brightened when she saw him. "Mark," she said, hugging him. Then she turned to me. "This is my husband." I shook his hand, still processing everything. "Nice to meet you," I said. Mark smiled. "You must be the friend Emily keeps mentioning. Thanks for supporting her work." We ended up spending the evening together, the three of us moving from one conversation to another. Mark was surprisingly down to earth. He talked about his work in real estate, his love for Chicago's architecture, and even his attempts at cooking when Emily was too tired after the studio. At one point, he looked at me and said, "I'm glad Emily has friends like you. She needs people who appreciate her art as much as she does." That moment struck me. I realized that Emily and Mark had a partnership that worked in its own way. She was the creative, free-spirited one, while he was the grounded, practical type. Together, they balanced each other. As weeks went by, I became closer to both of them. Sometimes Emily and I would grab lunch, sometimes Mark would join, and other times we'd all hang out at their place in Lincoln Park. One evening, while we were sitting on their balcony overlooking the city, Emily brought it up again. "I still can't believe you thought I was joking about being married." I laughed, shaking my head. "Can you blame me? You never wore a ring when we first met." She shrugged. "I don't like wearing it when I paint. Too risky. But yeah, I probably should have mentioned it earlier." Mark chuckled. "She does that. People always assume she's single." Emily playfully nudged him. "Well, now he knows better." From then on, every time I thought back to that cafe moment, I couldn't help but laugh at myself. The truth was, Emily and Mark had become two of my closest friends in the city. Sometimes life surprises you. You meet people and assume their stories are one way, only to find out there's a whole different chapter you didn't see coming. For me, Learning that Emily was married wasn't the end of our friendship. It was just the beginning of a bigger story, one that included both of them. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.